We want to thank SAPAA for allowing us to come here and speak. I think that our mission and what we want to talk about really goes hand in hand with their mission statement. We also want to thank Santex for contacting us and allowing us this opportunity.
Hi everyone, I need a favor, only if you can. If everybody can just stand up for just a minute. Okay, if you can just shake your hands a bit. Because I know sometimes you get cold, I was cold over there, or hot, or whatever. Stretch a little bit, just, wake up. I know it's like noon, but, I'm half asleep. And please sit down. Thank you so much. Yay. Okay. Today, our presentation will be about confidence and empowering people. So, according to Lois Frankel, PhD, president of Corporate Coaching International and one of the best-selling authors, she said, people with low self-esteem often try to remain under the radar screen because they don't want to be noticed. But especially in this economy, that is the wrong thing to do. So, today we want to talk about the need to tackle low confidence. And what we're going to include in that is a definition of confidence, the signs and effects, and also what we plan to do about it and what you can do about it.
What is confidence, in your own words?
Anybody?
Shout it out at me. What is confidence? To stand up and say I am. To stand up for who you are. What is confidence in Arabic? There you go. Okay, so Arabic or English, we got this down. We know what confidence is. Confidence, the actual definition for it is self-assurance, arising from one's appreciation for own abilities and qualities. To stand up and say I am, to know who are you, and to know that although we're human and we have flaws, you also have strength. You also have really, really good things going for you. So we're going to talk about the lack of self-confidence. What does it look like? What are the signs? People who don't have confidence don't come to places like this. Don't decide to speak up and stand on the stance. Don't decide to listen or to ask questions. In the classrooms, in the kids' environment, they may be sitting in the background. They may not know the answer, but they're too shy to ask. At work, they may be afraid to ask for a promotion, afraid to fail, afraid to stand up and say, I am. So it's going to be very important for you to recognize that. And part of it is the way you stand. Part of it, it's what you don't do. So there is verbal, what you say and what you don't say, and there's also nonverbal.
So body language is about, depending on the studies, 90% of our communications. This is what we do. So if you're standing confidently, you can stand like this.
Try it, everybody.
Or when you're sitting, sit and confidently. This is sitting maybe not so confidently. You want to be as small as possible because maybe you're insecure about something. But you know what? Sometimes when you stand like this, you feel like this. So something we can all do is practice in our daily lives, actually feeling confident. Looking confident sometimes makes us feel confidence. Another thing, if I say right now, everybody touch your forehead, please. Everybody touch your ear. Everybody touch your chin. There you go. Did you touch your chin? No, you did not. This is your chin. This is your chin. I saw. I think a couple people actually touched their chin. But most everybody followed this, right? So what is that telling us? That this is true. We act based on what we see, not so much what we hear. That is a part of it, maybe 10, 20%, depending on the people. And also a combination. You want what is coming out of your mouth to reflect how you look like and to be one package. What else do we have?
So part of the effects of the self-esteem, whether it be what you present yourself as, what you say verbally, or how your body language represents you, is the lack of opportunities. If you go to an interview and you don't really know how to dress for the interview, or you're really shy, or you're quiet, or they ask you, what are your weaknesses, and you really tell them your weaknesses, right? You might not be able to get that job. And that job is not just for your ego. That job is your livelihood. That job is how you feed your kids. What about if you're not confident in your parenting style? We all have different values, different beliefs. And how about if you're not confident in your ability to speak English? How would you advocate for your kids at school? How would you be able to earn your living? How would you be able to come to meetings like this and expand the Sudanese environment to be able to support one another? This is something that can help you. Learning about your confidence can help you fend off the effects of lack of self-confidence.
The lack of confidence also manifests itself in so many different ways. As a child, we can see it and we can actually empower children. As teenagers, that is one of the greatest places, teenagers. We always know that teenagers fall for peer pressure. But if you have a confident teen, if you are capable, if you're a confident parent, you can install those values within your teen to not follow a certain trend at the time. Also as an adult, like Linda was talking about at work, if you're a parent, if you're a confident parent, your kids will probably listen to you. If you're like, hey, can you please pick up your toys? That's not gonna happen. But it does manifest itself in a lot of ways, and it also costs money. It costs money. People who are not confident might not ask for the job that they're qualified for and they can do. Or you might not ask for a raise, or you might ask for a raise that is 20% less than you should. And I'm gonna take a semi-minute to speak to my ladies. We tend to actually ask for 20% less raise than our fellow men over there. Why? Does that mean we are not competent to do what we need to do? We're still hired for the same jobs. So that's another thing that we need to change within ourselves, that it's okay to ask. It's okay to want things for yourselves. What else?
The lack of self-confidence can also affect you physically and mentally. Not having good self-esteem, not having pride in who you are, or being able to connect your life with the pride that you do have, can affect your health. Can affect your ability to say, you know what, I can put down this burger and go and walk a mile. I don't think I can do it. It can affect your ability to ask for help if you don't know how to sign up for the Affordable Care Act. It can really affect your mental health. 1 in 4 people are affected by depression and anxiety. I'm a mental health practitioner, I'm a therapist, and that's something that I care very deeply about. But if you don't have the confidence, you may not have the ability to say, I'm struggling. I don't know what I need, but I know I need something.
So let's get to part of the solutions. This is the fun part, the important part. What are we trying to do about it? Linda and I and a couple more people are trying to actually establish a company to see how we can empower people and create confidence. What we're trying to do is educate people to live a full life, because I honestly think a lot of people are standing on the sidelines waiting for somebody to give them permission to live your life. Guess what? It's your life. Live it. It's okay. This is your permission. Another thing I want, and we want, to breed a culture of leadership. Leadership isn't necessarily so you can go and be a boss over somebody else. Leadership is you say, I have this goal in my own life. And you actually are comfortable enough to go and do it. You set the goals, you set your steps, and you move forward to achieving your goals. Another thing we want to do is create workshops. And in the workshops, we have different ways of tackling the same problems. Another thing, connecting. That's the best way to learn, is when you're connecting with people. Because inherently, when you meet new people like what we're doing today, we're learning new things all the time. And it's a more organic way of learning rather than just sitting and having somebody lecture you. We want to bring speakers, people who are successful, people who, doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, anybody who's successful in whatever field, art, music, and have them talk to the community. Because a lot of times we lack the imagination. We think if a person is successful, like right now, Donald Trump, or who's another successful person? Oh, Obama, Bill Gates,
Oprah.
Mahmoud. So anybody who's successful, sometimes we think that they were born that way, or maybe they're just super special and they never failed and they don't have anything wrong with them, and maybe they're born rich, maybe their parents were rich. But that's not the case. Almost every successful person will tell you that they have failed at a point in time, right? Who here has never failed in anything? Who here has failed in something? Who here has learned from failure? There you go, amen. That's what we want to see, and that's what we want to show to people. Because sometimes when you're not comfortable and you're not confident within yourself, a lot of times what's happening in your mind is you're constantly thinking, I have to be perfect, I have to be perfect, I can't fail. They're all watching me. But you know what? Everybody's watching themselves. Everybody is talking about themselves in their head. They're like, what am I gonna eat? I'm hungry, I'm tired, I don't wanna wake up early to go to work, blah, blah, blah. So also we wanna create a good support system and networking. Another thing we wanna do, which I'm really, really passionate about, here you can hold this, is your toolbox. We want to empower you by broadening the toolbox. What I mean by that is this. I don't think you can be super confident if you don't know how to spend your money. And by spend your money, I don't mean the actual decisions. What are you gonna buy? What are you gonna wear? No. What are credit cards, for example? How do you use them? What is interest rate? What is all this stuff? Do you know how to budget? Even if you earn $1 million, you can still be in debt and have to file for bankruptcy. So the tools that I think are very important, like financial tools, like planning for retirement, time management, very important. I'm sure most of y'all are busy with school, with work, with both, with children. And as Sudanese people, I think we generally, at least from what we heard or lived, we have a slower lifestyle, maybe in Sudan, but this is definitely not the case here. And we all feel it. We're all running around like crazy sometimes. But what helps with that is time management. So if you already know how your week is gonna look like, you planned it ahead of time, then you can be like, yes, I can do this, no, I can't do this. Another thing, you can be confident enough to say no. That's very important. I don't know how to say it in English, but us Sudanese people, we have a tendency to be very into mujamala. I don't really know how you explain that, but whenever you say yes when you actually mean no, or you're like, I can't, but you're like, oh, well, maybe I'm trying to be nice. But if you know your schedule, if you know what it is, you know it's not personal, you're like, no, sorry, Mahmoud, I just can't do that this weekend, sorry. It doesn't mean anything. And if Mahmoud is confident enough in himself, he's not gonna be like, oh, she hates me. He's probably gonna be like, yeah, she's probably busy. Whatever, moving on. So, let's see. Oh, communication skills, very important, whether it's language, whether it's professional communication, as in body language, how do you stand, what do you say, the words, there's words that are more resonating with people than others. How do you interview? How do you apply for a job? writing also. So those are the things that we're really trying to work on, and we are actually having another business meeting tonight. Wish us luck. Trying to see how we can bring all these things together. And we have a lot of interest and create an amazing company to try to bring up everybody. Linda?
So what are we asking of you today? Does anybody know? To be more confident. And we're going to give you just a few hints of how to do that. Number one, awareness. You've got to be aware and honest with yourself about where is your confidence. Mahmoud, can I put you on the spot? How confident are you?
From 0 to 10, I'd say about 7.
7? Really good. Does that ever fluctuate? Depending on what?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. So if there is something that you don't know, would you be comfortable enough to ask?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Where is your self-confidence? And you don't have to answer to me. Just between you and yourself. How confident are you? Have you ever wondered if your wife understands what you're trying to do for the family? If your husband appreciates you? If your kids are going to be safe and not do drugs? If you're going to succeed and make your parents proud? If you're going to get that husband or not? Think about it. Be aware, be honest. Think about your level of confidence. And if it's 3, 2, 1, that's okay. I've been there. You too?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Back there, up here? That doesn't make you a failure. That makes you honest. That makes you human. Then what? What do you do with that information? Now that you know where your confidence lies. Education. Learn about it. Learn yourselves. I'll tell you this. My level of self-esteem is highly affected on whether or not I've had my coffee for the day. That's my personal information. That's what helps me. But I also know that if I've had a fight with someone that I really care about, that might affect my confidence the next day. So what I need are those tools to problem solve. I also know that if my house is dirty, it affects my self-esteem. So I need time management skills to keep my house clean. I didn't mean to rhyme there, it just did. So it's going to be very important for you guys to be aware, to recognize the importance of self-esteem. Recognize that this is not, oh, you're just emotional. No, this is proven time and time again, based on various studies, that it affects us globally. It affects the way that families are structured. It affects the way that economy. It affects drugs, alcohol. It affects conflict. It affects physical and mental health. This matters. And it's about time that we spend time educating ourselves about it. You can become a person who's a human, not perfect, but you can change your life for the better. I want you guys to open your eyes. How did it feel? Great. And it takes work. It really does. But we can teach you the tools, and you can teach yourself the tools of how to get there. We talked about confidence today.
I want to talk about personal responsibility.
Oh, just a sec.
Okay, one of my favorite things ever, and I think that is the best way to start, is self-responsibility. That is the way to go. We can't get anything done, and I truly believe this, if we don't take responsibility for ourselves. Unless you're a minor, or a few other exceptions, you're a human being and you're responsible. It doesn't matter how many people stand here and tell you stuff. It can all come from one ear and go out the other. It really doesn't matter. Nobody dragged you here today, so you're responsible and you chose to be here. Nobody makes you do anything. I want to concentrate on proactive language. Does anybody know what that means? If I say, I have to go to work. Is that proactive language? Anybody? No, exactly. If I say I want to go to work, that is proactive language. It means you are not the victim. Nobody's making you do anything. You are choosing your choices in life. And you know what? If you don't choose it, it will be chosen for you. If you don't choose something, something else will happen. The world will not stop. Time will not stop. So if you think, oh, I'm just going to sit here in the corner and not voice my opinion, and as earlier somebody was speaking about how SAPAA's mission is to make us all united so we can actually have a voice in this wonderful country that we chose to be in, whether we like to admit it or not. None of this can happen without personal responsibility. Nobody brought you here. Nobody mafizo jirak, tied your hands and brought you here. We're lucky like this. We actually made it here. So, if you start thinking, I want to go to work, and one day you wake up and you're like, I don't want to go to work, what are you going to do? Are you just going to be like, well, they're making me and I'm poor, and you know what, I don't have a degree, and my mom says I should, be an engineer, and things like that. You're just going to be miserable. And at the end of the day, 10 years later, 20 years later, on your, when you're dying, you're not going to remember, oh, well, I tried to quit my job, and I actually quit my job and went and did all these wonderful adventures, and then it failed, and then it succeeded. No, you're going to be like, I'm so miserable right now, and I spent 50 years in a job that I hate. And who do you have to blame? Nobody. Yourselves. So now today, if you're miserable about something, accept it or change it. You can learn to love some things, and I would say maybe we should learn to love ourselves. I'm beautiful, you guys are beautiful, but really take responsibility for who you are. That is the first, and I truly, truly, truly believe this, that's the only way for us to move forward as an individual, as a human race, as Sudanese people, Sudanese community, and truly globally. Like right now, we are having so many different problems in the world, economic or environmental problems or Ebola. And what is happening? Unless it hits us next to us, we don't freak out unless it's in our backyard because we are not proactive. We're like, it doesn't matter. I don't want to do anything about it. It's never going to affect me. Guess what? We're all connected whether we like it or not. And to tell you truly, personally, I have fought this for a long time. Linda knows, one of my family knows. I was angry for the longest time that I have to take any kind of responsibility for somebody next to me. Not because I hate people, not because I don't care for my family or my friends, just because I thought, why am I sitting here working so hard and somebody else is not working hard enough and I have to pay for them or I have to take care of them? But guess what? That anger doesn't do anything. You can be responsible and inform the person next to you. Maybe they don't know. And then if they're hurting you, you can walk away. That's okay too. That's okay. You don't have to be miserable. You can be successful. You can move forward. Whatever it is, you hate the job, guess what? Make a plan. Say by February next year, I'm quitting this job. And I honestly did it before. And I got the job that I wanted after I quit, and I didn't even know what I wanted. So, thank you. It was hard, but this is life, and we are not saying don't fail. We're saying fail. Embrace the failure, because it's not permanent. We're human when we fail, and we tend to learn even better the next time. That's just how it works. None of us used to walk before. Can y'all remember that time? No. And whenever we started trying to walk, we fell a lot. Can anybody remember that pain? I sure can't. And this is how life is. You might, at the moment, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I'm trying to walk and I'm gonna fall, and yes, it hurts. But guess what? You learn to walk now and run and talk and move forward because you were taking chances. The problem is in our society, we have children that are amazing and they do whatever they want to do and they run around, and then somewhere along the line, we say, stop. Stop being creative. Stop thinking differently. Stop looking at the world the way you're looking at it. You have to be perfect. You have to make hundreds, not make a mistake and then fix it. What are we teaching people? What are we teaching people? This is not the world, and especially in this world, we need creative people. And the only way you can do that, and we have a lot of problems, we have a lot of solutions, and the only way we can actually move forward, even globally and in our own world right now, is for us to seriously be okay with failing. It's okay. You try it, you move on. And that means we also have to kind of be nice to each other. So if someone fails, if you're not going to help him out, move on. Honestly. If you don't have anything good to say, and I think we've all been taught that at a point in time, instead of sitting there and maybe gossiping about it, oh my gosh, look how she looks miserable, she's never gonna get that job. How about we be like, hey Linda, how about we go shopping? You know, I kind of want to go get a job too, and we need to go to an interview. How about we go shopping instead of saying, oh my gosh, look at her hair, oh my God, I just can't stand it. What is this doing? Because guess what? She doesn't have a job. She has a job. But if she doesn't have a job, she's going to end up tomorrow maybe, borrowing money from you, maybe calling you for rides, because at the end of the day, what goes around comes around. And maybe we're kind of lucky to have this community, but maybe somebody will end up being homeless. Maybe somebody will end up being hungry. Why? There's no excuse for us in America, as Americans right now, no excuse for us to be one of the top countries in food insecurity. We have more hungry people here in the Western world, in the developed world, than almost anywhere else. Why? And if you're Muslim or not, I would say that's kind of haram, don't you think? For us to be wasting so much when people are hungry. And that comes from us saying, either I'm not good enough to change something, or I'm not good enough to stand up for something, or I'm too selfish to do it. And that selfishness comes from a bit of insecurity within itself. Because a confident person, have y'all ever seen dogs? Have y'all noticed the little dogs, no offense to Lily, but the little chihuahuas, they're so scared and they just yap, 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 yap. If you see the big confident dogs, they just walk and they're cool. They're fine. They're not yelling at anything, and that's, to me, I feel that's how people are. So somebody's yap, 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 I'm selfish and I don't care. Sometimes be kind. Maybe they're hurting, because hurt people hurt people. So just maybe see, what's happening there? Maybe they're not really jerks. Maybe they actually have something. There's something inside of them that's hurting them, and they don't know how to express it. And that's where your personal responsibility does not stop here. It goes to everything around you, your family, your community, so on and so forth. And this is my rant for now. Let me give you Linda.
We talked about confidence. We talked about the signs of lack of self-confidence, whether it be the yappy yap yap or how it's portrayed in your nonverbal communication. We also talked about what we plan to do about it. So I want you guys to think about, what are you going to do about it? We want to leave you guys with this quote from Moji that mirrors the spirit of our sentiment, what we're standing for here today. It reads, "Step into the fire of self-discovery. The fire will not burn you. It will only burn what you're not." We want to thank you guys very much for your attention today.
Thank you so much, guys.
We also want to welcome you to sign up if you want more information about our program. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.